Right. So hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Expert Talk. Expert Talk is the brainchild of the Heal Yourself Naturally Facebook group, and every week we have another expert or different expert to tell us or to introduce us to some wonderful, wonderful things. Today we have Nicoline Huizinga,
Yeah, excellent.
and she's a human design expert, but I'm going to read her bio first so that we are all familiar with that. Right. So Nicoline Huizinga is a certified business mentor, human design coach, speaker, and author of the book series Flick the Fuck, Fuck It Switch. She ignites the fire in entrepreneurs by helping them to tap into the core, embrace their unique skills and talents, and to take actions on a personalized strategy based on their human design so that they are able to run a successful business on their own terms. With her 13 plus years experience as an entrepreneur, creative mind, and strong intuition, Nicoline always has an answer to any question that business owner may have. Nicoline loves reading, cold water swimming, and enjoys James Bond movies as a guilty pleasure. Apart from her native tongue, Dutch, Nicoline is fluent in English, German, and French, and studies Spanish. Wow. Right. So, Nicoline, let's move it over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Ina, for having me. And it's so lovely to be here and to share my passion, which is human design. And I love the angle that we discussed when it comes to healing and energy and human design, because human design is all about energy. But before I dive into the human design, I'm going to share my screen because I prepared something for you guys, and I'm gonna present that. So here we are. Oh, I need to move us around. So here we go. It's gonna be presenting. Da, da, da. Present full screen. I hope you can see it.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. All right. All right. So we're going to talk about the healing energy from your human design. And I'm going to share with you the nuggets of wisdom that I found in human design that can help us not only to identify possible energy leaks, but also the sources of energy that we have and how we can make the best use of our energy. Before we talk about that, a little bit about me and what we will cover. So we will be talking about an introduction to human design. We will be talking about the energy types, the things that I think are crucial energy elements. We're going to be talking about open and defined centers in human design. And then, of course, we have Q&As. The Q&A will not be recorded, right, Aina?
Right.
Okay, good. All right. So a bit about me. I am a business mentor, a human design coach. As Einof said, I am the author of a book series called Flick the Effort Switch. Two books are done in the series. You can see three, but the orange one is an introduction to the book. I have written Focus and Courage in this series, and next year will be all about power. And the year after that will all be all about passion. And then I think we have all the elements we need in order to run a happy and successful life, meaning we need power, we need our passion, we need focus, and we need courage. And once we have all these things in place, we have an amazing life. I have a background in training and coaching. I worked for a large international training and coaching company for 16 years. I got my certifications there to be a trainer, to be a coach. After that, I followed many other courses. And 5 years ago, human design came into my life. And for me, it was the missing piece of the puzzle because I have been coaching and running my own business for almost 14 years now. And so until 5 years ago, of course, I had a successful business, it was all good. But I always felt something was missing. with the background in training and coaching, I always had, you know, all the assessments and the tests, and I knew all about them, and I've done them. Well, I won't say all, but many, many of them. And then I came in touch with human design, and then it was like, oh my goodness, it was really the missing piece of the puzzle. I finally got myself. I finally understood why I acted the way I did, why I responded to things the way I did. And that was so incredibly helpful. And then I started digging, of course, into my own design first. And then I started digging into other people's design, and I started testing it and trying it with other people around me, my family, my loved ones, and then clients. And they were all blown away by the insights and how beautiful life gets when you understand yourself and when you start living your human design. Now, what is human design? In a nutshell, what human design is all about is 4 spiritual learnings and 1 scientific element. The 4 spiritual learnings being modern astrology, the Hindu Brahman chakra work, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and the science element, quantum physics. And human design, in that sense, is all about energy. And energy is like electricity. We cannot see it, but we know whether or not it's there. And we can sense it in ourselves. We can sense it around other people. So energy is one of the things we don't see, but we need it in order to go through life. And this is where human design comes in, where it can help us to really move through life with ease and flow. Yeah, it helps us to stop doing the things that don't work for us and start doing more of the things that do work for us. So this is what human design is all about. It gives you your own user manual of how you're wired, how you operate, how you're created, and where you're sensitive to other people's energy or situations, where you have your own consistent energy, and how you can navigate that. And that is the best thing, I think, about human design, that it really gives you your user manual. Like, this is how you were born to be. Now, over the years, of course, we learn stuff that may not always be that helpful for us. So in human design, there's always a lot of, as we call it, conditioning. And there's a lot of unlearning to do when we get in touch with our human design for the first time. So before we dive into it, I would love to know, and please put it in the chat, whether or not you know your human design. So when you know your energy type, and even if you know more about your human design, I would love to see that in the chat. So I'm going to have a look. And if you're a generator, I'm a generator too. I'm a 1-3 emotional generator, as they call it in human design. I'll get into that a bit. Claudia, you're a manifesting generator. That's wonderful. Elizabeth, do you know? Annika, do you know? Annika, you're a generator. Wonderful. And Elizabeth, I would love to hear what you are. I don't know if you know it, but it would be really great. So I'm going to tell you a bit about the first, I would say the first level of human design in a bit, but this is, for me, why you need human design in your life. And there are many, I would say, reasons why you need it, but these are the main 3 reasons, for me anyway. First of all, to understand yourself. When you understand yourself, you know how to navigate yourself, you know how to navigate your design, and then you know how to move through life. It helps you to accept who you are as a person. So instead of thinking something is wrong with you, so you may have flaws, the flaws are too much of a good thing in your design. And that's what human design helps you to see. So it helps you to embrace your talents, your skills, and your flaws, because your flaws are never flaws. It's just too much of a good thing. And as a result, what you can do when you really live your design, you can live an aligned and happy life. And that's what we want, right? That's what we're all after. We don't want the suffering. We don't want the struggles. We really want to go through life with, ease and grace. That's what we all want. And this is I think, one of the best tools to get there. It's just a tool, to make that clear. It's never an excuse to hide behind, like, oh, but I'm a generator, so I can never do that. It's not that you cannot do it, it's just that it costs you more energy. That's all it is. So it's never an excuse, but it always gives you a reason why you act the way you act. So without further ado, let's dive into your human design. So we have generators in the room. We have a manifesting generator in the room, which is great. But I'm going to describe the other energy types really briefly, and then we're going to dive into the energy element of each energy type. So we have 5 energy types in human design. That's like the top layer of human design. So we have generators, we have manifesting generators, we have projectors, manifestors, and reflectors. In order to get to know your own design, what you need is your date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth. And you can go to myhumandesign.com, or you can go to mybodygraph.com. It will show you your design. However, it can be complicated when there is so much information and knowledge out there on human design. And sometimes it's like learning a new language. It's like really, I spoke to a person this morning and she said, it's like learning Japanese. It's like, what is it about? I don't get it. I don't understand. How does this relate to me as a person? That's where I come in. I love translating your human design to your daily practice, whether it's in business or in life. I love translating your design into, okay, this is what it means for your behavior. This is what it means for your habits. This is what it means for your sensitivity to your surroundings, to other people, etc. So we have those 5 energy types. The generators represent 37%. It's the biggest group. So it's not surprising that we have a majority of generators in this room. The manifesting generators represent 33% of the entire population. The projectors represent 20%. We have manifestors, they represent 9%. And then we have reflectors, they are really rare. They only represent 1% of the entire population. Now, how do we get those numbers? It's based on, and the database is constantly changing, but it's like, more or less with only 1 or 2%. It's based on the data that we get from the platforms where people fill in their details and where we can see, okay, who requests their human design, and those percentages are basically the facts that we get from those sites. So these are the 5 energy types. Now, when you look at energy and healing, what you need to know, the crucial energy elements are your energy type, your profile lines, and your open and defined centers. And I will be talking about that in a bit. But if there's anything you take away from this session today, knowing that these elements are crucial to manage your energy. So first of all, talk about your energy type. So when we go back to the energy types, when we look at the generators and the manifesting generators, and together they represent 70% of the entire population, they have a sustainable source of energy in them. So their energy there, their life force, their life energy is consistent, provided that they do the things that light them up. That's the most crucial thing. So we are all generators and manifesting generators in this room. We really need to do what lights us up. Then our energy is consistent and it keeps flowing. But once we are doing things that don't bring us satisfaction, it's a possible energy leak It's a possible drain of energy. So we really need to be aware of the things that bring us joy and pleasure and satisfaction. So whenever we do something and we don't feel like, the flow and the ease, it's not that you cannot do it, but the balance should be around things that really light you up. And the feeling that's really crucial for generators and manifesting generators is that you feel like your gut feeling is like, oh, I really want to be doing this. I really love doing this. This is what lights me up. I could do it forever. I could do it all day, every day. This is what's really crucial. So when it comes to energy, knowing that you're a generator or a manifesting generator is quite important, because you know that you have the sustainable source of energy, but you really need to make sure you do what lights you up. So that's crucial. Then there is the projector, and the projector doesn't have the sustainable source of energy. And I'm sure we all have projectors in our family or our friends. These are the people who are like the wise guides. They are, the people who are great at observing. They are not necessarily the people who have a lot of energy. They may have it when they are around you, but when they're on their own, they may be tired, exhausted. They need more rest. They need more sleep than the generators and the manifesting generators. So when it comes to healing yourself and using your energy wisely, the projector really needs to be aware of their energy and their energy levels. So it's very crucial for a projector to check in with themselves, like, okay, what's my energy level like? On a scale from 0 to 10, where am I? And when it's below 7, you need a break, you need a rest, you need a nap, you need to step away from things or people. You need to be on your own for a moment. This is really important for a projector. So if you know any projectors around you, it's not weird that they need more rest. They're not lazy. They don't have the sustainable source of energy that generators and manifesting generators do have. So where it's crucial for generators and manifesting generators for their energy levels, that they do what lights them up, for projectors, it's really crucial that they are aware of their energy and they follow the flow and they follow what their heart's desire is telling them. So when they look at, okay, this is what I really would love to do, that's crucial, but they need to be aware of resting in time, napping, sleeping, taking a break, etc. That's crucial for a projector. Now, when we look at the manifestors, they represent only 9% of the entire population. So manifestors are I would say the visionaries. They are the leaders. They have this magnetic aura. They can just see what needs to be done. They are quick. But the same as generators and manifesting generators, unlike manifesting generators and generators, they don't have the sustainable source of energy either. But what happens for manifestors? Their energy comes in bursts. So it could be, and I know many manifestors, their energy is like, oh, I'm feeling incredibly inspired, and they can just work for a day and a night and just continue. And then they collapse. So when it comes to their energy, they need to be aware of that this is their way of doing things. There's nothing wrong with them. But in case manifestors are watching this, when you know that you can have those energy bursts and then you can collapse at some point, this is the way it works for you. So there's nothing wrong with you when you collapse. It's just that you had an energy burst and then it gets low again. And then you go from energy burst to energy burst, basically. So when you know and you have some manifestors around you, this is the way their energy operates. So nothing wrong with them. This is the way they do it. So at one day they can be like, whoo, all over the place, very energetic, productive, effective, making things happen, getting things done. And then the next day, like, oh, I'm exhausted. So it almost feels like schizophrenic, but it's not. This is the way their energy works. And then, of course, we have the beautiful reflectors. They represent 1% of the entire population. And what is important for reflectors is that they don't have a sustainable source of energy either, but they are open, literally open to everything that's going on around them. So they can get influenced by the energy that surrounds them. So when they have, for instance, generators or manifesting generators around them, they reflect and amplify that energy. So it can be that they can be very energetic and very busy and very focused. And once the generators and the manifesting generators are gone, it's like they're collapsing. So they need and they borrow the energy from other energy types. So that's for the reflectors. So knowing your energy type is the start of basically everything. So this is element number one, crucial energy element number one. Then we go to the profile lines. And the profile lines, you can find your profile lines here in your body graph. And you can see here the 0.1, and here you can see the 0.3. And so the black line always goes first, and the red line always goes second. So the black number is, so in this case, this person is a 1, 3. The profile lines are 1 and 3. I am a 1, 3 generator, so this is a part of my design. So I am a 1, 3. Now, what does that mean? Each profile line has a meaning. There are 6 profile lines in total. And when it comes to energy, it's really crucial that you know these things about your profile lines. So when you have the 1 in your profile line, you're an investigator, as they call it in human design. And an investigator loves to dig deep. An investigator loves to know everything, really loves to go to the bottom of things. They research, they investigate, they love knowledge, they love facts, they love information, they always love learning, and they always have the feeling they don't know enough because there's always more to learn. And that's the thing with the 1, that it could be, especially when it comes to energy, that you feel like, oh, I don't know, I need more, I need more, I need more. So you may feel the drive to dig deeper all the time. So it's very hard to tell, like, when is it enough? When do you have like a solid foundation when it comes to knowledge and information? Because the profile line 1 gets a lot of certainty from knowledge and information, and therefore gets a lot of energy from the knowledge and information. I have the 1 in my profile. When I knew about this, I was like, oh my goodness. Now I know, now I understand why I can't stop learning, why I can't stop researching, why I can't stop investigating. So when it comes to my energy, at some point, I call myself out on continuous researching. And I'm like, okay, it's enough. I can take a break. I know enough. And I can move from there. And when I start sharing that, that's all good. So there's no need for constant digging and getting to know more and more. The second profile line, so profile line number 2, is the hermit. And when it comes to energy, what the hermit really needs to know is that the hermit, I mean, the name in itself is obvious. The hermit loves to be on her own. The hermit loves to be in her own little bubble without being disturbed, without being around other people. So when you have the profile line 2, your energy is crucial. Being alone is crucial for your energy. That's really crucial. When you have the 2, you need to be on your own. You need time alone. You need to be away from people. You need to be in your own little energy bubble. That's crucial for the profile line 2. The profile line 3, the martyr, is the explorer, and the person who loves experimenting, who loves testing, who loves trying. And when it comes to energy, this is where you get your energy from. You love testing things, you love testing concepts, you love trying things. That's what your energy, what fuels your energy. So using that and not seeing the profile line 3 as someone who's like, how do they call it? It's the of something and the master of none. That this is, I don't know the saying, but it's, you try everything and you experiment. That's where you get your energy from. So if you don't get to test or try things, it just depletes your energy. So when you have the profile line 3, you need testing, trying, experimenting, exploring, failing, even though there is no such thing as failing. It's just, finding ways that don't work. That's crucial for the 3. So when it comes to knowing your energy, this is not, the failing is not the failing bit. It's like, okay, you learn a lesson. And I always love what Thomas Edison said about failing. I haven't failed. I just found 100,000 ways that don't work. And that's exactly the case for the martyr. Now, when it comes to the opportunist is the person who has the introvert and the extrovert united in one person. So knowing this about yourself, when it comes to your energy, you can be incredibly introverted and you can be incredibly extroverted. And there is no prediction of, okay, this is when you're introverted or that's when you're extroverted. But you have these two elements in you, in the 4, the profile line 4. This is exactly why you are able to build the bridge between the introverts and the extroverts. People love being around you. They love being around a person who gets them. So when you are wondering about your energy, it's like, okay, what am I today? Am I the introvert or am I the extrovert? And it's all good. It's not like you're weird or anything. This is how you're wired. So the 4 is giving you the energy of the introvert and the extrovert. And it's important to honor these two sides of you. When it comes to your energy, when you feel like, oh, I'm the introvert today or this afternoon or tonight, or just honor the introvert and make sure that you have time on your own, that you don't have a lot of people around you. And when you're the extrovert, it's great to connect with other people and to talk to other people. So honor that energy in you when you have the profile line 4. The heretic is the fixer, the helper, the person who always has a solution. So that's where you get a lot of energy from. You get energy from fixing and helping people. But the thing is, for the profile line 5, many 5s don't know how to stop themselves. So they want to help everyone. They want to help and fix, everyone around them. And that's where the energy leaks start, because you cannot save everyone. And this is where the 5, the profile line 5, gets into overdrive, and you start saving people. But this is the thing, what you need is to offer them a solution, offer them like tools, like this is how I can help you, because that's where you get your energy from. And then you can step back. It's not your job to help or fix people. That's definitely not the thing. And that's where your energy, at first you're like, oh, I can help people. But when you get in overdrive, then it starts to deplete you. So that's the profile line 5. And then the profile line 6 is the role model. And the role model has a beautiful life that is divided into 3 stages. It's from 0 to 30, 30 to 50, and 50 and up. And when it comes to energy, the first stage of the role model, those 0 to 30 years old, is all about testing, trying, experimenting, almost like the profile line 3. So you get energy from testing, trying, experimenting. Now, between 30 and 50, the energy for the role model is more reflective. It's more, and in human design, we call it you're on the roof. So you're observing your life, you're taking decisions, you're making choices, you're doing this or that. And very often between 30 and 50, people make drastic changes when it comes to career, relationships, friendships, etc. And this is where you get your energy from the reflection, from looking at your life and taking decisions, making choices. And then in the third stage, from 50 and up, it's approximately, it's not like on your 50th birthday, magic happens. That's not the case. But when you're as of 50, you start giving back to society what you've learned in the first 50 years. And that's where you get your energy from. So when you think about your profile lines and when you lack energy, when it's um, um, challenging for you, try to see how you follow and honor your profile lines when it comes to energy. So this is crucial energy element number 2, the profile lines. Now we move on to the open and defined centers. Now, when you look at your body graph, you can see this is what they call the body graph. And you can see the 9 centers that we have in human design. So we have the head, the ajna, the throat, the G center or the self center, the heart, the solar plexus or emotion, the sacral center, spleen, and the root center. Now, when that center in your body graph is white, it means that you're receptive to other people's energy there. When your center is colored, it means that you have a consistent energy there. So when we start with the head center, and I'm going to really focus on the energy. When you have a defined head center, the head center is all about ideas, about inspiration. It means when you have defined, so a colored head center, it means that you always have ideas, you always have inspiration. You are not that receptive to other people's energy. So you have your own energy there. It's not an issue for you like, oh, I don't have an idea. You always have an idea. And that's the great thing. So in that sense, your head center gives you like sustainable energy when it comes to ideas and inspiration. When your head center is white, it means that you are receptive to other people's ideas and inspiration. And in a way, that's wonderful because you're literally open-minded. So you can welcome new ideas, new concepts, and you're open, literally open to that. On the other hand, it can be overwhelming and it can be too much. It can be depleting for you, especially, and please tell me if you can relate to this, when you scroll on social media, there are so many triggers coming to you. And when you see all the content, the videos, the tips, the tricks, the whatever, can be too much. With an open head, it's really important to guard your energy. So when you go, for instance, when you go on social media, you need to be a creator and not a consumer, or a consumer for only a limited amount of time, because it can overwhelm you. Moving on to the next center, the Ajna center. When your Ajna center is defined, it's colored, it means that you have a consistent energy when it comes to concepts, when it comes to executing ideas, when it comes to the way we do things, you have a consistent energy there. And that's great because you always know how to execute an idea. So whenever you get an idea, you have ways to execute it. You always have an idea how to make it happen and how to make it work. When your Ajna center, is open, when it's receptive to other people's energy, it means that you literally are open-minded. So there are 100,000 concepts that are possible for you. So there is no one way to do things for you. It's like, oh, we can do it like this, or we can do it like that. So you're flexible, you're agile, and in moving forward in how to do things. The great thing about that is that you're flexible. The great thing about it is that it brings a lot of innovation. However, especially when the top two are open, it can be too much. It can be exhausting. Can you imagine when you are, especially this December month, when you get so many like commercials about happy families, and especially when you are in a family that's not so happy or other challenging stuff is going on, seeing all these happy families and hearing about all the happy families can be really challenging, and it can be like exhausting for your energy. So there's nothing wrong with you there, but you just be aware of, oh, I have an open head, so I need to protect myself from that energy. All right, Claudia, you're logging off. Great, no worries, no worries. So this is about the Ajna center. Then we have the throat center. And when we look at the defined throat, the colored throat, it means that you have a consistent energy there. So you have the ability to speak, to express yourself. And that's one of your biggest talents. You just know how to express yourself, and that's great. When your throat center is undefined, when it's white, you need other people's energy in order to speak up. Again, when you are in family surroundings like the holidays or anything like that, it can be really challenging when you're around people with a defined throat and you don't have a defined throat. They can be very vocal, and at some point you may be like shutting down. So that's where your energy starts dropping. So it's really important to be aware of what's going on when you're around other people. Are you able to speak or not? There's nothing wrong with you if you can't, but it's because of your undefined throat that it's not working. Then we have the G center. And when you have a defined G center, you are the same person basically everywhere. So the G center is all about personality. It's about who you stand for, what you stand for, your values, your principles, your purpose, who you are as a person. And with a defined G center or self center, it's you're the same person basically everywhere, which is consistent, which is great. And that's wonderful. So that's a great talent to have. When your G center is undefined, it means that you are, again, you're very agile, you're flexible, you are able to be like a chameleon. You can talk to peasants and kings and everything in between. And that's wonderful. But when it comes to your energy, it can be exhausting to adapt and adjust all the time. And it's important to be aware of your own energy in that sense. Like, okay, I'm adapting and adjusting all the time, but who am I? What do I want? Where do I want to go? So that's crucial. And again, then you need a little break. You need to step away from things or a situation and recharge your own battery before you can engage into conversation again. The heart center is all about willpower, determination, and it's the home of the ego. When your heart center is colored, you have a consistent energy when it comes to determination and willpower. But it's also the home of the ego. So you can be a bit stubborn when it comes to pride, when it comes to ego. Like, you know, it's hard to admit mistakes. So it can be, it's a talent to have a consistent willpower and determination, but it can also be tough to admit that you cannot do things alone, that you cannot admit that you were wrong, for instance. And that's an energy leak. Even though there is a consistent energy there, your ego can be, as we all know, a big block in our lives. So just to be aware of it, like, I have a defined heart center. Okay, that's quite important to know. Now, when the heart center is white, when it's open, it means that your willpower and determination is not consistent. It's not that you don't have it, it's just not consistent. So when it comes to, I don't know, losing weight, going to the gym, meditating every day, etc., if your heart center is white, it's open, it's hard to be consistent. So it can be an energy leak when you really try hard to be consistent and it's not working. But when you have an open heart center, there, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just, it comes and it goes, and it's all good. Another element that's costing, what it may cost you energy, is that you're sensitive to other people's opinions. So that's another element to be aware of when it comes to energy, possible energy leaks. We spoke about the sacral center already. The sacral center is the life force energy. And generators, manifesting generators, they have a defined sacral center. So they have the consistent life force. But when you have an open sacral center, like the manifestors, like projectors, like reflectors, it's important to know that you need more rest than others. So no shame in there, nothing wrong with you. You just need more rest. That's all. So now we go to the solar plexus and the emotion center. And when it's colored, when it's defined, it means that you have your own emotions going on, and your emotions come and go in waves. And there is nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, up and down, and it's like a constant wave. So when it comes to your own energy, it's important to be aware of that. When your emotion center is open, like white, when it's undefined, it means that you're receptive to other people's emotions. So you can feel people's emotions as if they were your own. And that's especially with family, with friends, especially around the holidays, the month of December. It can be tough to have an open solar plexus or emotion center because you feel all the emotions of other people. So it's really important when it comes to your energy, managing your energy, literally shaking off other people's energy is really helpful. Stepping away from situations for a moment to refocus on your own energy is crucial when you have an open solar plexus or emotion center. Then we have the the splenic center. The spleen is all about intuition. It's about our survival mechanism. Now, when it's defined, it means that we have a consistent energy when it comes to our intuition. We have a well-developed intuition, especially when it comes to our own and ourselves. We know, like, okay, this is the right thing to do. However, when it comes to energy, our intuition is a very soft voice. It doesn't talk too loud. And very often we are conditioned to listen to what's going on in our heads. We need logic, we need ratio. And that's where the spleen sometimes doesn't win, because the spleen is just a whisper and it may not make any sense. So when it comes to your energy, your spleen is an incredible tool, especially when it's defined. So it's important to take time to tap into the spleen and to literally talk to the spleen, like, okay, tell me, intuition, tell me, what should I do? What is my next step? What is the wise thing to do? And your intuition will talk to you, but it takes practice. So when you have a defined splenic center, this is a way to move forward. Now, however, when your splenic center is open, your intuition is much more focused on other people. So it may very well be that you know things about people that make no sense to you, but you just know, that it's true. Or many, like clairvoyant people or claircognizant people, they have an open splenic center. What happens there, especially when it comes to energy, is that this is also the center, like I said, survival mechanism. So there is a lot going on when it comes to fear. And with an open splenic center, it may very well be that you have irrational fears. So weird things come into your head, like, oh, but this could happen, or that could happen, or that could happen, especially at night. So there's a lot of I would say thinking like, oh, is this the right thing for me? Oh, but perhaps this will happen or that will happen, especially when it's linked to survival in many senses of the word. So there's nothing wrong with you when you have that, but you need someone to ask you the questions like, how real is this fear actually, or is it an irrational fear? So that's what you need to be aware of. And then we have the root center, and the root center is about our drive, our ambition. It's about our adrenaline. And when we have a defined root center, when it comes to our energy, we're fine in chaos. We can handle chaos. We can handle deadlines. And we're fine in a large group of people where people are loud and where they talk a lot. It's all good. But when you have an open root center, you can feel the pressure from other people, pressure to perform, pressure to be funny, pressure to be present, pressure to talk, to connect, to whatever. Again, there's nothing wrong with you. But when you know this about yourself, you can be aware of it and you're like, okay, I feel the pressure. It's not mine. It's not mine. I don't have to. And this is like a mantra. When you have an open root center, you can use the mantra, I don't have to. And it's crucial for you to know. So that's what we covered, the three, I think, crucial energy elements, your energy type, your profile lines, and your open and defined centers. Now, I have a little gift for you, and you can download this thing. It's an ebook, and it shows you how you are wired. And let me put it in the chat. This is the link. You can download the ebook. It explains your human design in a really simple way, and it will tell you like, okay, this is what it means when you have a profile line 2 or when you have profile line 5, etc. So I highly recommend you download this ebook because it helps you to simplify and explain your human design. Any questions that we have? So enough, maybe we want to stop the recording and then we can talk about questions that people have.
Yes, absolutely. But before we do that, I just wonder if we can touch briefly about what we kind of said about the how human design, how do we understand healing in the sense of human design? I think if people watching the replay, that would be quite interesting for them.
Yeah, so in sense of healing, because I think a lot of suffering gets created when we are out of alignment with our human design. So when I try to be, for instance, if I would be a projector, what I see with a lot of projectors, they try to keep up with generators and manifesting generators without having the same source of energy. So when projectors are out of alignment and they try to keep up with the generators and manifesting generators, they get exhausted and they get all kinds of chronic issues because their body literally isn't made to have the same amount of energy as a generator or a manifesting generator. So I believe that a lot of physical struggling gets created when we're out of alignment. When as a generator or a manifesting generator, when we don't do what lights us up, at some point we end up in a burnout situation. Like one of my clients, a generator, she had a heel spur because she was not doing what she really loved doing. So her body was like reminding her, like, you're not doing what you love. You're not doing what you love. And she was like literally hurting in her leg because of that. So the alignment with your human design, I think that creates a lot of healing. And it's not just knowing yourself, it also helps you to accept yourself. It's like, a permission slip that you get when you know your human design. And that in itself creates healing. Does that answer the question,
Absolutely. For me, it aligns perfectly with my message too. I always talk about the emotional root cause behind the chronic illness or chronic pain, and it is really, that's what I'm talking about. Get back into alignment.
Yeah.
There is the illness or the pain, their message that you're basically receiving because you moved away from alignment and harmony.
Exactly.
So it, to me,
Exactly.
it definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So I guess I'll stop the recording now. I'll just mention to anyone that the link to your the gift, I will add it below the chat
Great.
anywhere we publish it. So I'll just say thank you very much, Nicoline, for this
You're
fascinating.
so welcome.
I really, really enjoyed it. Learn more. I'm very curious to get on with the question now. Thank
Yes.
you.
Wonderful.
Right. Sorry. Stop recording here.